A beautiful morning to you and welcome to the newspaper review right here at Prime Media TV. I am Ayo bringing you the news headline for today. And as always, I have quite a number of headlines to be reviewed with you today. But first, one of the many things that caught our attention today is a video that has been circulating online from the Brekete family about the back and forth we have been having around the Nnpcl and crude production in Nigeria. So there has been quite a rumor as to if Nigeria is still producing crude or they are getting their crude from outside. And quite a number of persons has been saying, quite a number of reports has shown that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration has sold its crude upfront to Afrim Bank. But then this video will actually shock you. So very quickly, let's have a quick view of the video, then we'll dive into our analysis.
Abdulaziz Umar talks, the ordinary president. I hear say our past leader don't sell our crude oil up front. Nigeria no get crude oil to sell to Dangote again. Me too, I hear that thing. Say all this money where they borrow during Buhari time, they use our crude oil where we never produce, give them as a security to collect the money up front. That's what I hear. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, President.
Yes, sir.
It's not a rumor.
Oh, it's not a rumor?
Yeah, they sold it. It was a swap bid done by Melekari.
This same Melekari?
$3 billion.
$3 billion? $3 billion.
And they still apply again. They want to do same. It was done under Buhari and collected $3 billion. Now they want to swap again, multiply our resources and collect another, I think, 2 or 3 billion. Still, they are still on the process. But it's not a rumor. It was done and sealed. So we have no crude oil for now. It has been mortgaged. That is the fact. So it's not a rumor.
Thank you very much. Make we appreciate elder statesman.
All right, that was actually the report from Brekete family, and this is actually shocking to a lot of Nigerians, even though this is a rumor. But then let's look at the origin of this whole situation. In August 16, 2023, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, Nnpcl Limited, secured a $3.3 billion emergency crude repayment loan, a loan that is aimed at supporting the Naira and stabilizing foreign exchange markets. The first question is, why should Nnpcl be the one securing a loan to strengthen the Naira and also to support foreign exchange? Should that not be the business of the CBN to do? So this is the conversation that we are diving into today. And as always, I have my co-host with me to analyze this segment together. Nnpcl Treasure, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So there are a lot of cases here. There's the case of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari's administration, borrowing around $2.3 billion as upfront in exchange for our crude. So what this practically means is that they borrowed this loan in his administration, then they will be using our crude oil to pay upfront. Now, there is no report as to how much has been paid back and how much we are left to repay. And also, there is another part of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration borrowing a $3.3 billion from the Afrim Bank. Now, what this implies is that they borrowed this money through Nnpcl instead of CBN. So now they've borrowed this money and they are to pay it back with our crude. So practically, whatever crude that we have in production in Nigeria right now is not meant to be sold out to, and it's not meant to serve us, but it is meant to pay back this crude. So before we dive fully into this analysis, I want to hear your quick thoughts on the situation that we have on ground right now. Why should it be the Nnpcl borrowing money to strengthen the Naira instead of the CBN?
Well, when we have a place where laws are not obeyed, when we have a government who does things the way they feel like, regardless, who is not mindful, a government that is not mindful of what the people will say, there can be irregularities in their way of doing things. From all indication, the medium through which the money was borrowed, in as much as we know that the money was not utilized for the purpose, all right, because it cannot be said that we have enjoyed naira, ever since the administration of the last administration, right? So the truth there is, that is why we see all that is playing out now, putting people in office, putting their own persons in office, people that they can be able to manipulate. That is what I can say, that why they use that channel, of course, since the crude oil is what they use as a collateral, and the Nnpcl is the one, should I say, in charge of that sector. And of course, they have their influence, they have their power over the people, or the head of the Nnpcl. Possibly is the reason why they choose to use the Nnpcl instead of the central bank, which we know that if they had also wanted to use the central bank, they would have equally used the central bank. But should I say that it could also be a demand from the country, from the place where they borrow the money, that if they have to release this money, so people must be the one to come for the money. So it will be, it could be as a result of agreement. But the truth here is that it is based on the fact that they are not accounting to anyone. That is why they can go out of protocols to do things, and because nobody is questioning them. So that is all I have to say.
All right, now let's speak on the part of them using the money to strengthen the naira. As at the time that they took this loan, 3.3 billion naira loan, I'd like that you speak on the improvement of the naira, since that was the essence of it. At least we have to look at it. Some of the pictures will be on display. We have to look at it from different perspective. How has the loan they took then, since the whole essence of it, like, we've been able to clear a little of the reason why it is Nnpcl that is borrowing the money and not the CBN. Now, what has the improvements been so far since they took this money from Afrin Bank? They took this money from them since August last year. The essence is to strengthen the naira. So what is the development so far since August 2023? And thank God it is a year already. It is almost a year. So what has the results been so far? What result can you actually point out on the effect of this loan on our naira?
Well, what I can say is that what I have seen playing out under this administration is that whatever they want to do, they will look for something to lay hold on, to tell Nigerians that is what they want to use the money for. Most of the things they've told us that they disburse money into, we've seen that they end up not using. We don't see the result of this money. On those things they told us is the reason why they invested. Now, talking about the naira, we all know what is playing out. One of the challenges we are having currently in the country is as a result of the rate of naira to dollar. All right. So it has not, of course, if that sum 3.3 over $3 billion investment to strengthen naira cannot be said to have been carried out, and we are experiencing what we are experiencing currently in Nigeria. So it cannot be said that money, if they have been able to do that, how were they, through which medium, how did they do it? They talk about they talk about accountability, but it's not showing in everything they are doing. It's not showing. Mr. President, on the last time he was addressing the nation, he was I don't know, I don't know if this administration don't have shame. I don't really know if they don't have they don't listen to, they don't even hear what people are saying about them, because they keep us giving us lamba upon lamba. People are talking, is not moving them. How can they come out to say that it was used to strengthen naira when they all know that what the current situation we are experiencing in the country? So to me, and of course Nigerians, nobody will come out and say and defend them that truly they invested this money in strengthening naira, because naira is in fact naira has crashed. There is no longer strength in naira. Naira has crashed.
All right. So as at the time of this report, as at August 2023, the naira was around 912 naira. And looking at, I'm just trying to weigh the options. 920 naira to 1,600 plus now.
Currently.
And I'm just wondering that what could they have done? We've been hearing back and forth of businesses shutting down, even though that's another story entirely. What are the things that ensure that businesses stay back? Because we are looking at how to strengthen the naira.
Okay.
We cannot strengthen the naira by borrowing money to fix it. We cannot strengthen the naira by printing in more money. And we saw that was the mistake that the former
CBN
the CBN governor made. But he printed out some money to print less amount of money. And we are wondering, and a lot of people are saying that the reason why our naira is where it is today is because they printed more money and they went into more loan. But now the Nnpcl, they have strayed out of line. They are not supposed to be the ones to be borrowing money on how to strengthen the naira. It is not their business. So it is incompetence on their part to say we want to borrow money to strengthen.
Sorry to come in. It cannot be said that it is incompetent of them, because nothing, an amount of such amount cannot be borrowed without the approval from the top.
Definitely.
So if they've not been permitted, if they like I said, that it must have been an agreement, or that from the place, the source where they borrow this money from. And of course, if the Mr. President did not approve of it, and some top officials did not approve of it, there is no how Nnpcl will go ahead in.
Well, for me, the point is that Nnpcl, your business is to manage production of fuel in the country.
Okay.
That is your business. I'm just wondering the correlation between somebody managing petrol, even though they said part of what they want to use the money for is to ensure that, then the effect of subsidy removal is eating hard on Nigerians.
Nigeria.
So they said part of it is to strengthen the naira. That if the naira is strengthened, the effect of the subsidy will not be much on us. Yeah. And as at then, I think fuel price was around 400 naira, 500 naira. But look at where we are today. So it is not their business to look at how naira will be strengthened. What will strengthen the naira is how much production that we make. But now that I'll give you a moment. Now that they've borrowed money and we are using our crude to pay upfront, to pay back. So what will now be left? That means the fuel that we are getting now, we are getting it at a very high price. But those people who are supplying for, definitely, the Nnpcl only supply to NNPC. Every other person, every other fuel station that is selling petrol currently, they either import or they get from other local refineries. And definitely, because Nnpcl is currently paying back with their crude, in quotes, they are currently paying back with their crude. That means every other local refineries cannot get crude from Nnpcl. They have to get it from the international known brands. So definitely, if the fuel is coming in, they are paying in dollars, and it is more expensive for them. It is more expensive than when they get it here. So you see why Nigerians are where we are now. Because when they buy crude from outside, they buy it at double the price that they are supposed to be getting it here, over 1,000 naira. So if they are to sell back, how much are they going to be selling? And Nnpcl has the audacity to be telling Dangote to import their crude. So this is where the problem is. Definitely, now what we see on the ground now is that they didn't use the loan to do what they are supposed to do. At the same time, they are using our crude to repay back. So the question now is that where exactly are they taking the crude to? There is no accountability as to how much they have paid back, what is left, and when Nigerian local refineries will start getting crude from Nnpcl. That's where the problem is right now.
Well, the truth is, in a country where the president is equally involved in the affairs of the crude, of the petroleum, so it is easy for him to manipulate. It is easy for him to give instruction, and his instruction as number one citizen must be obeyed. We all see what is, I am not totally blaming Nnpcl, sincerely, because I am sure that they are not operating. We have seen that almost every sector in Nigeria under this administration are not independent. They take instruction. Even the bodies that has functioned as an independent body before now under former administrations now has been subjected to instruction, under this administration. So they would have had the right, the power to decline if they were an independent body. But since the Mr. President is involved, I'm sure he has a way of having his way in anything he wants to do. Now, talking about this, the effect and when is Nigerian refineries will have access to our crude oil. The truth is that all our politicians seems to be so much interested in this crude. That is why so many things, when you are paying attention, you have many things to take care of. You have many ships, and you are paying attention to one direction, forgetting that you have some of your ship as a shepherd. You have some of your ship in other side. It will be difficult for you to know what is happening to the ship in the other side when you are focusing on one direction. That is why we're having all the issues we're having in Nigeria today. So long the money is coming from the crude side, any other sector can suffer. So long they are benefiting from the crude oil, any other sectors can crash. All right. So their focus is so much on that crude, and they don't care. Sincerely, they don't care. If they care, I'm sure what we are getting from this crude is enough to take care of the country and the problems the country is going through now. So, but because they don't care, that is why we are where we are today.
All right. So there is a report from the senior special advisor to the president on digital and new media. And this report was made around last year. And I just want to quickly look at his thoughts. Some of the things that he said, we'll have it on display. This man said, he posted it on his Twitter page. He said, "Is this loan risky for Nnpcl or the Nigerian Treasury? No. The exposure for Nnpcl is very limited, covering just a fraction of their entitlements. Additionally, there are no sovereign guarantees tied to this loan. What then is the benefit of this loan to Nigeria? The loan will assist Nnpcl in settling taxes and royalties in advance. It will also equip the federal government with the necessary dollar liquidity to stabilize the naira with limited risk." And we have to some extent answered that. What is the business of Nnpcl with strengthening the naira? Then he further wrote, he said, "What is the benefit of this loan to Nigeria? The loan will assist Nnpcl." Okay, we've covered that. He said, "How will this loan be disbursed? The funds will be released in stages or tranches based on the specific needs and requirements of the federal government." He said, "A strengthened naira as a result of this initiative will lead to a reduction in fuel costs. This means that if the naira depreciates in value, the cost of fuel will drop and further increases will be unaltered." So that was the reason they took this loan, so that the naira will be strengthened against the dollar, so that if at all the naira is the naira has enough value, regardless of the amounts they are selling for. Let's say, but if the naira gets more value, if at all we are selling we are buying fuel for like 300 naira, 400 naira, we will not feel the effect because every other thing is going to be cheap.
Yes.
Transportation, food, and everything. But we can see that the effect of that has further worsened the situation. Because as at the time of this report, the naira against the dollar was 912 naira to $1. Now we are at 1,625 naira. So the man, however, stated that the loan will not address the concerns around foreign exchange in the long run, stressing that as far as Nigeria continues to import petrol, the pressure on the United States dollar would persist. But currently, are we not importing?
We are
importing because Nnpcl is not selling crude to Nigerians, so to the local refineries. He said it is to infuse dollar into the country, but you know the implications of loan in the long run because it has to be paid back. However, this is not the best approach to the issues that are before us. That is actually the line that caught my attention, that they took this loan. This man is supposed to be a special advisor to the president on media. Why didn't he give this advice directly on the effects of this on Nigerians? So now let's move to the way forward. The way forward is where are we currently in Nigeria as regards to crude production. And also the way forward again to look at is, what loan exactly are we paying back to? What is the hope of the Nnpcl producing crude for Nigerians? And what will be the future for Dangote if at all he doesn't get crude in Nigeria? He continues to import this crude. What will be the future for his refinery because of the back and forth that he's currently having with the federal government?
Well, asking about where are we heading to, we can only know when we are heading to, when we have, of course, when you're on the right track, we have, like when you're on your way to somewhere, you can use Google Map, and we can only know where we are heading to when we have people who are transparent, who are letting us know where they've been, what is on ground. That is when we can know where we are heading to. Sincerely, I want to quote Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president. He said Nigeria is sitting on the keg of gunpowder. Sincerely, for the fact that these people are not accountable to anyone. Now, who can account for the money that that was borrowed? Now, under this administration, another one has been borrowed. Now, all they are telling us is that they are paying loan, they are paying debt. What were this money used for? Who are the people? Okay, we've seen cases of money being disbursed to private accounts, even by the Mr. President. So the thing is that, in as much as there is no accountability, we cannot know where we are going to. And this thing will keep on happening because nobody is questioning them. These people are not answerable to anybody. Now, talking about Dangote refinery, sincerely, I don't think anybody establishing a business of such kind, in as much as it wouldn't have been a bad thing for him to be depending on crude supply from his country, being knowing fully well that we have the resources. But in as much as every Nigerian who knows about the system of politics in this country, establishing a factory and industry as large as that shouldn't be fully dependent on supply from Nigeria. Sincerely, because we know that, like I said earlier, many of our politicians are so concerned about that crude, about that oil money. That is why, so long they have, everybody want to have their share, and so long it's getting to them, they don't know. Look at so many other resources that can even give money. That has been the source of exports, in Nigeria over the years. Today, they are no longer given attention. We have the cotton, we have so many other mineral resources. So if Nigerian leaders are not, if we have people who are not afraid of the people they are leading, how they feel and what can be done to them, I don't think we will know where we are and also where we are going to, because we have wrong people in the front.
All right. On a final note, the senior special advisor to the president on media and digital, he predicted how the repayment plan will be. And he said, as at the time that this loan will be repaid, that the dollar would have inflated. And that is where we are. He made this prediction in 2023. And here we are, 2024, August, a year after. And that is what we see. You took a loan of $3.3 billion as at the time that the dollar was at 912 naira against the dollar. Now, the dollar is now 1,625 naira or thereabouts. Now, I'm just doing a rough estimate in my head as to the amount that they will be paying. They will be repaying. Definitely, if we are to sum up our crude in dollars, they will be paying like times 2 of the previous amounts that they paid. So what I am expecting of this administration is that now that this report is out already, now that everybody is aware of the mess that is ongoing with Mele Kyari,
and they didn't notify Nigerians before the borrowing of this money.
Definitely. So now that this report is out already to the ears of Nigerians, and Nigerians are talking about it, I think it is high time that these people, whoever that is supposed to give account to Nigerians, should come out and give account. Where we are in this country is as a result of lack of transparency. And when we are talking about transparency, these people just assume that Nigerians should know. But they've forgotten that if Nigerians that are educated knows, there are some Nigerians that are not educated. They ought to know, and that is why we have some ministers who are representing Mr. President on the media. There are some people who watch out for these things, who hear what Nigerians are saying. There is a way they can, like, look at the spokesperson for Mr. President, Ajurun Gelale. These are some of the things that you can come and give weekly reports of what is currently happening in a layman language, in a layman understanding of what is happening with Mr. President, with the NNPC, with everything that is happening. Help us to see where you were before, where you are now, and where you are advancing to. So these are part of the places that this administration is faulting at. They just expect that Nigerians will know, Nigerians will understand. But really, there are some people who do not even understand. There are a lot of people who feel like the reason why we are having fuel crisis is because our fuel station has refused to sell fuel for us. There are people who need to understand that it is not your fuel station that is the problem. The problem is with the people who are supplying to your fuel station. The problem is with the people who are sitting on the seat of power with those people who are supposed to supply for you, where the problem is. And this is what an administration who is willing to get the trust of our people should actually be doing. Coming out to say, this is what is currently happening. Yes, we didn't tell you about the loan. Now you are aware of it already. This is the loan that we took. This is how far we have paid. This is where we are currently. And in the next few months, in the next few years, Nigerians will begin to supply crude to local refinery. So they are talking about monopoly with Dangote. Now, who exactly should we be fighting, or should we be fighting for monopoly if it is Dangote or the Nnpcl? Because currently, apart from Dangote refinery, the other functioning refinery to some extent is the beyond Nnpcl, rather the other functioning refinery is Dangote. So now what becomes of the Nnpcl? Because they are talking about monopoly. Now, monopoly now is not only to the Dangote, it is also extended to Nnpcl, because if they do not supply local refineries, how will the local refineries be strengthened to also work, to also supply to Nigerians, to also ensure that what Dangote is supplying to, so that there won't be monopoly, so that Nigerians can have option. If you are selling at a very high rate, they have other people who is selling at a very low rate, and they can supply to that. So I would like to hear your final take on this story as we wrap up the conversation.
Well, Nigeria matter. I was listening to a TV channel and they say Nigeria story is tiring. And the truth of the matter is, on this matter, in as much as you said there are people, even if Mr. President is not coming out to address the matter, there are people that are, that should be able to come out and do that. But I want to say something. You can only a place where there is no law, there is no sin. When you don't have anybody to fear. When, as a child, as somebody, you feel like you are the boss. You feel like you're on top. Nobody, you don't do things looking back. That is what is playing out. But the truth of the matter is that I want to say that this administration should understand that nobody remains in power forever. If it does not affect them now, they have children, children that are still going to, whether nobody will die abroad, nobody will live abroad forever. So no matter what, everybody is still going to come to their father's land. Yeah. If our home is good, it's good for all. If you build your home, these people, they travel abroad and see things, and they come back here, it will be so difficult for them to replicate those things they see out there. But when they want to build in their personal homes, they want to replicate the standard of building they see abroad. But in power, you have the capacity, the resources that is not your personal resources, to build your country so that other people can be so, pleased to be here, and they are not doing it. If you do well, you do it for yourself. If you do bad, you do it for yourself. I will put it that way. That our crude, no matter what, no matter, I don't know how long, how many years this contract, this exchange contract has been signed. We've been talking about loan. Nobody is talking about its interest. No loan comes without interest. No loan comes without it. Only God knows how much Nigeria is to pay back. But the truth of the matter is that in as much as there is no accountability, we cannot know where we are now. All these people coming out to give analysis, they were there when they know about the loan before it was borrowed. So some of them have shared from this thing. the money we are talking about is not a little amount of money that you can say that it was collected and given to one particular person. So if it is not, God will help us. That is what I can say, because the situation where we are now, just imagine how many refineries we have abandoned in the country. Imagine that all this money that they say they want to use to strengthen Naira was used to boost, to revive our refineries. We won't be where we are today. But because this money, when you borrow loan, you should be able to use it to invest in something that can be able to give you return, that will make it easy for you to pay back. Had it been they use this money to invest in our refineries, and now all the refineries are working, it would have been easy for them to get money to pay back this loan without. God will help us.
All right. So on this note, this is all we'll be taking on this segment. We'll be going on a quick break, and as soon as we get back, we'll dive into another conversation. So please stay tuned with us. We'll be right back.